Box going. Welcome everyone. You were listening to and perhaps watching Hot Sauce Sports.
There's a spider on my keyboard.
The spider is actually joining us for Not Sauce for Work on the Hot Sauce Sports Network. I will eventually get the name of the show right. How's it going, Terry Tam?
Very good, very good. I wore my Pacers hat in solidarity for Reggie Miller being the best shooter of all time.
Yeah, you're right. He's better than Steph Curry, better than Klay Thompson.
Yeah, hands down. Hands down.
Eagle, how's it going, bud?
I don't know where it went now.
Why are you a Pacers fan, Terry? Was it just like you fell in love watching?
It's just because of Reggie Miller, yeah. I mean, back then, my brother was growing up. My brother was a Bulls fan, and I just I've every team other than the Habs, I became a fan of because they were the little guy compared to even the Dallas Cowboys. Like when I became a fan of the Cowboys is because they lost to the Niners.
Okay.
And I was a Niners fan at
when
first.
Deion Sanders went to the Niners.
Yeah, exactly.
When he took all the championships with him to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's when I became a Cowboys fan. So it's because my brother was a Cowboys fan, so I switched over. Then him and my dad became Raiders fans, so I stayed a Cowboys fan. But like even Reggie Miller, he was just like the guy that nobody really liked. And he was different. He wasn't the same. Like, he was just awkward. He was funny looking. The team was grimy. They were a grinding team. The same thing with Liverpool. Like, I'm a huge Liverpool fan because, you know, there's Manchester United, there's Chelsea, Arsenal. Like, there's all these teams. And then there's Liverpool who have this crazy history. And I'm also a big fan of history. Like, I like, you know, and Liverpool had this crazy history. Then they had this one player named Robbie Fowler. He was a little guy from Liverpool. And he was unbelievable, and I was like, "This is the guy." And then when Gerrard was coming up, I'm like, "That's the guy for me right now." I think Gerrard's the best player of all time. You know?
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
I found him.
Emmett Smith, Steven Gerrard, Reggie Miller. Can't tell me those guys aren't the best players in the world.
So is it Reggie? Okay, I can tell you Reggie Miller was not as good as Michael Jordan. Yes,
Russ Cordnell.
Russ Cordell, yeah, greatest of all time. That one I'll give you. That's 100%.
I grew up a huge Russ Cordell fan, Pierre Turgeon fan, Pavel Bure. I like those kinds of guys, you know.
I was well. I mean, and we were both Expos fans, obviously, when the Expos were here. But that's because they're in our city, right? So it's easier to follow.
Yeah, but then there's that. It's the same story with the Expos. It's like, you know, they have a good history. You know, they're always like kind of like the little brother. You know, it's I like that. I'm more of an Expos fan than I am. A Mets fan. Like, I'm a Mets fan because there's no Expos. But if the Expos come back,
thing here. We did the exact same thing.
Back,
it was like, where can we drive to in the summer to watch a game? And then it's like, well, we can't like the Yankees, so the Mets.
I've been to Citi Field. I never been to Shea Stadium. I've been to Citi Field twice, and
I actually haven't been to Citi Field yet.
Oh, it's fucking beautiful, man.
I never go to. The truth is, I just don't go to Queens when I go to New York City.
I've been to 3 baseball games. I've been to Wrigley Field, City, and other than Olympic Stadium and the Rogers Center, whatever it's called. That place is a piece of junk. Like, it's old, and it's also Toronto. Yeah. Toronto, just anything they do is shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
England, by the way, they remain to be the Toronto of the earth.
Yes, they do. Are they the Toronto of the earth?
They're the original Maple Leafs. I think it's around the same time that I think the last time England won a major championship, it was the World Cup in 1966. The Leafs winning in 1967. Yes. And then nothing since for either of them.
Well, I mean, in those sports, yeah, but we have the Blue Jays and we had the Raptors a couple of years ago. So Toronto has seen some success, but yeah, Leafs to England is a good comparison, that's for sure.
So and we'll just get to it now quickly before we get into the news and stuff, because it's kind of stuff that happened last week. But again, it's one of those things where it happened between our two shows, but early on between our two shows. And I wanted to include a clip.
England shouldn't have been in the final.
Yeah, I agree with that. But like so I didn't include the script, and I wanted to, so we'll just talk about it in the intro. Pulling the curtain back a little bit, so you can see how the Wizard of Oz works. I was actually at the celebration.
Because that's how I describe you, as a wizard to people.
Exactly.
They're like, well, what's P's like? He's like a wizard.
Yeah, Wizard of Insanity.
You're more like the Wiz.
Yeah. So I went to
Wizinator.
the championship sort of parade party, East End Montreal, when Italy won. After having to bring my wife to the airport early in the morning, I was completely exhausted, but I kind of got like a second wind once like the penalty kick started. It's an exciting moment in sports, right? Like, I know it's not the best way to end a championship of any sort, but it's the rule that's existed forever. And
I actually find it's like the most exciting way to finish.
Oh, it's absolutely exciting.
It actually is the best one, as much as it's the worst one at the same time.
It's very anticlimactic though. Like, it's not. Yeah, you're kind of at
opposite.
Yeah, I would agree with Eagle.
I feel like if you in a golden goal situation, you're just anticipating the goal, like in hockey. You know what I mean? Like, it's like overtime is sudden death. Like, you're waiting for it. Where shootouts is like, you're getting 5 shots. So it's very like, unless it goes to the extra shots, then it becomes more like, okay, is he gonna miss? But for the first 5 shots, it's pretty boring, I find.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, it's that initial buildup of, oh my God, we're getting penalty shots. That's the most exciting feeling in sports, right? Like,
yeah, because penalty shots in soccer have been like this thing, right, for years. It's like a staple.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
why.
I thought you were gonna talk longer, and I drank some water.
So would you want to switch it to first 90 minutes, then 30 minutes of extra time of you play all 30 minutes, and then you go into golden goal extra minutes, or would you want to finish with the penalty kicks?
I'd go 90 minutes, golden goal for 30, and then shootouts.
Yeah, well, that's what they used to have. They changed it to
They used to have
goal.
silver goal. It was so stupid. Yeah. What is this silver goal?
It's now silver goal. Yeah.
So silver goal means just an additional game.
It's an additional. Basically, you play and hopefully you don't tie again.
I thought silver goal meant that if you score in the first half of the overtime, the game's over. If you're leading in the first half.
Maybe I'm not like.
If only we had a producer that can answer these questions.
Yeah, you play 2 halves of 15 essentially.
It's 2 extra.
No, but now you play the 2 full 15s. I thought silver goal was if you scored in the first, kind of like in the NFL, if you when in an overtime, if you score in the first half of the overtime and you're up before the half ends, then it's over. But in this case, what's happening now is that if you score in the first half, the second half is still being played.
Yeah.
They've changed it a few times, because I remember Italy losing to France in one of the World Cups.
It used to be, I want to say late 90s up to maybe early 2000s. It used to be golden goal, and now it's whatever they have now, where they play the full overtime. Well, we do a half hour of soccer.
What we do, and a lot of hockey tournaments do that, is in overtime, especially in tournaments, is that you start the period 5-on-5. Every 5 minutes, you drop a player until you get to 3.
I thought of that. I was actually going to suggest that
as
a way to fix soccer, but then I was thinking, how does that work though with all that terrain you need to cover? It's not going to be watchable.
It's completely wide open.
What if you just put the second goal at the half, at midfield, and then you play 5-on-5?
You just change the entire landscape of the game.
Yeah, or you go the other way. You play it with wide, we're a really wide field. And with really short,
but you still play the opposite end.
Yeah, go 11-11, but you just flip it side to side.
No, you know what they should do? It shouldn't be switched to 7-a-side or whatever. They should just do the full 90 minutes, because it is tiring. But they should do an extended 45-minute overtime, okay? But have unlimited changes after.
Or Eagle, why don't we do the thing like in Harry Potter where they chase the golden snitch? I was going to say nugget. They chase the golden nugget.
Golden nuggets.
If you get the golden nugget at any point in the game, you win the game. So it's not
That's a good idea.
But so the thing I want to talk about, though, quickly before we get into other stuff, was it was really cool after seeing every time, the Canadians were celebrated, which we'll talk about later in this show, seeing that it always led to destruction of property and so on and so forth. It was cool to see parades happening in various parts of the city, where there was no destruction. Everyone was really just having a good time. It was really nice. It was really cool. And then, of course,
you want to know why?
Why?
because the Italian parades, if you notice where they all celebrated in their communities.
In their own communities. That's
yeah,
right.
so like
in
Little
our own
Italy.
communities.
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
case.
So
It
Little
literally was
Italy.
walking distance from my house.
Yeah. RDP, Little Italy, RDP, St. Leo, La Salle. Like those are the main areas in Montreal where there's a lot of Italians, where there's a huge influx of Italians. And I guess Vimont, they were probably more migrated to like
Well, they all
RDP.
went to RDP, yeah, because of the 25 bridge and.
Yeah. You have to pay. They pay for it. Just for that.
Well, when Italy wins, you pay the $8.
You pay $8. Whatever it is. No, but the thing is that so you're not going to damage your neighbor, right? When the kids, these idiots go downtown and they celebrate on St. Catherine Street, they don't know who these buildings belong to.
Yeah,
so they're just going to start burning fucking cop cars and shit.
The other thing though is
I'm anti-robbery.
Well, you're the only one on our team apparently. We have to get pro robbery T-shirts. Celebrate the lineage of the wet bandits. From Home Alone.
100%.
But we saw in England the opposite thing happen. Obviously they lost. It's a different sensation. But man, like it's ridiculous how in our own group chat amongst us, where it's like, oh my god, they're going to lose this game. And wait for the racism to hit. Like I remember Eagle said it, Duke said it in our chat, and it was
said
instant.
It when they missed the first
clockwork.
kick. I'm like, I can't go on Twitter. It's going to be a disaster.
And
like clockwork.
This is in Wembley Stadium, booing when players took a knee. When most of your team at this point are black, the youngest players in this team are largely black. The future of your national club is black, and that is how you're doing it. I saw a guy bum rushed into the Thames River or the Thames. I don't know. They pronounce shit weird. I
don't even know.
Yeah, it was just a whole onslaught of racism immediately following, and isn't the whole thing behind these international competitions, the Olympics, the Euro, the World Cup, isn't the idea supposed to be that unite them? Like I remember in ancient Greece, Terry, you can speak to this. Olympics, they would
I can speak to ancient Greece.
They would pause wars. They would pause wars so that they can do the Olympics, and it was supposed to be this unifying thing. And in some cases, they were able to like use the Olympics and negotiate a truce because, like, you know what? Let's just have some wine. And it's all. We don't actually need to go to war, And to see it devolve into this, it's shameful, really.
I'm not. Yeah, but are you surprised? Like it's the same thing with Boston Bruins fans. It's like England fans, Boston Bruins fans, not cut from a different cloth, my friend. I'll tell you that. And another thing I noticed, and I tweeted at this, is I noticed that English soccer players, and I said this during the game, English soccer players and English fans, like English people, look nothing alike.
Yeah, I know.
Like if I look at you guys. Or if I go to Italy and I see some people walking around Rome, and then I look at Bonucci or even Chiellini or all these guys, I'm like, okay, they all look similar. Yeah. But British people and British soccer players look nothing alike. Why is that?
Because the British soccer players have money to get their facial features fixed.
To get their teeth fixed. That's what it is.
There's also the other thing where historically there's only one group of people that have money in that country. They're the same people who voted for Brexit who also don't want immigration. Those
types. The ones that if you go on Vice's YouTube channel, all you see is alt-right movement in England, alt-right movement in this. It's one of those.
Anyway, we have a ton of stuff to get to. I don't want to harp too long on it. I'm really happy for Italy. It would have been awesome for me if the Habs and Italy would have won, but you know what? It was cool to experience Italy winning the Euro. We have a ton of stuff to get to, so it is time for the news. Terry, it's the news. Lots of stuff happened, as we said. I do want to start. It's somewhat related to what happened in England. Stephen A. Smith had a really bad day dealing with people from different cultures. These two things happened on the same day on First Take, and I've been saying this for a while. Stephen A. Smith works too many hours, and when you have a microphone in front of your face 20 hours a day, you're going to make mistakes.
100%.
And like the thing is, I know people have an issue with Stephen A. Smith. You and I, Terry, are old enough to remember Stephen A. Smith, the reporter, not just the character on ESPN. Because right now he's not reporting. He's not a journalist right now. He has a background in journalism, but he's a sports entertainment figure at the moment. That's his job.
And Eagle, you misspelled Steven. It's Stefan, not with a V. It's with a PH.
I take from a script, okay? Whatever you guys write, I'm Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy, you're Ron Burgundy.
The script also has autocorrect, unfortunately. It's PH.
PH.
Yeah.
Give him a different kind of stuff. I don't think anybody in the history of the world spells their name Steven with an F.
You laugh. I have coworkers that spell.
We actually know someone who.
Do not insult the Germans.
No, but his name is Stefan. It's not Steven.
That's true.
Yeah, but he anglicized it when he comes here.
I can't be the smart person in this situation. You guys are smarter than me.
That's true. It's a good point.
This is bad.
When Terry is correcting our spelling, it's an issue.
Yeah.
So, Stephen A. Smith. Let's go to his first comment. We have it here. This is a comment relating to Shohei Ohtani of the Anaheim Angels.
And I understand that baseball is an international sport itself in terms of participation. But when you talk about an audience gravitating to the tube or to the ballpark to actually watch you, okay, I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he's saying in this country. And that's what I'm trying to say. And I understand that baseball is.
Max Kellerman knew exactly what he was saying, and he was trying to cut him off. Yeah. Speaking English is important. It's the same. I said this in our group chat with like UFC fighters, the guys come from Brazil. Like Anderson Silva speaks fluent fucking English. Okay, fluent.
But it's also not a requirement.
It's not a requirement, and they have interpreters, which is fine. Yeah. But like when you get in front of the camera, most of your fans don't come from Brazil. Okay, most of your fans are coming from North America. They're coming from Europe.
Also, the fighting sport. So UFC is different because also it's a promotion based sport, right? So like you're essentially on your own to promote yourself. Like baseball is different. Like you're playing for a team and you work for Major League Baseball where you're a unionized employee. And the thing is, like he's saying, speak English, where Stephen A. Smith likely speaks one language. Like again, it's also very different because. Like the three of us, myself, you, and Eagle, we all speak three languages.
Yeah, and
I'm working on my fourth. It's terrible, but I'm working on it. And the thing is that we take it for granted being from Montreal, right? Because we have to learn two. You have to speak two. And then most of us have kept sort of like our, I speak Italian, you speak Greek, Eagle speaks Italian. But the thing is that we always want. In sports, we always want excellence at whatever cost. Like it doesn't matter. We always say like, the argument, for example, against Colin Kaepernick. Well, it's not because he knelt. It's because he wasn't any good. Sports is meritocracy. Well, here, if it's still a meritocracy, then the language he speaks shouldn't matter. We're witnessing essentially someone who's doing something that we haven't seen since Babe fucking Ruth. Like
yeah,
and the numbers. By the way, the numbers are comparable.
They didn't count stats properly.
Sorry.
Since they didn't count stats properly.
Yeah, and since pitchers threw one pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I play devil's advocate to try and defend Steven here?
So I think
sure.
I know you're going to go with, but go ahead.
Yeah. So here's my hot take. His topic, or what he was talking about, wasn't a slight against the players. It was a slight against the audience, that even when you have an amazing player show up, the fact that they're not your skin color or your race is a reason to not watch them.
So that's what he should have said, because that's a great point.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think so, though. I think it's a shot towards the league.
Yeah, it's a shot towards the league. But
you can't straight up call the league out because then you get fired.
Well, because that's the thing. So ESPN is shifting more and more towards being a rights company and less towards being a journalism company, right? So they're in partnership with the league. So you can't outright criticize the league. So then the next step, I guess, is criticize the player for not being able to be marketed to people. But it's also not his responsibility. Again, it's not his
responsibility. Shohei Ohtani is a great fucking baseball player. We haven't seen
he's amazing.
He's made me watch late night baseball games.
He's made me watch the Angels, a franchise I've never cared about since Angels in the Outfield, the movie. That's the last time
I didn't even care about them then, and imagine.
Well, I only cared about the franchise in the movie, to be clear.
Yeah. I only care about what's the actor's name?
I don't remember.
Matt Damon.
No, the kid that plays Angel. The kid that does the waving in Angels in the Outfield. The actor.
Matt Damon.
I don't remember.
No, it's not Matt Damon, doofus. It's the guy from 50-50.
Stupid.
Third
I
Rock,
went to go
Third Rock
Google
from
it
the
to try and
Sun.
figure it out. You know what I Googled? I Googled Matt Damon.
I know you did.
He plays on Third Rock from the Sun. He's a famous actor.
Oh,
now.
it's the guy that my wife has a secret crush on.
Yeah,
it's not that secret.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That's the one.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that guy, yeah.
And
And
Matthew
Donald
McConaughey and
Glover.
Danny Glover and all the big people in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, Donald or Danny
Christopher
Glover. I
Lloyd's
don't
in
even
there
know
too.
which one's which
It's
anymore.
Danny
Danny.
Glover.
Danny.
That
Not
Donald,
related, by the way.
Donald is Childish Gambino.
Yes,
Yes.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like I'm actually watching these games. I'm looking forward to seeing what Otani's doing. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like Stephen A. Smith, I just think that he likes to be passionate about things, and he started a sentence and then just decided to finish it. That's I basically
he just doesn't know
think
where it's
that's
going
what
to
it is.
end.
Yeah.
So I have a greater take about ESPN, but we'll get to that after we listen to this next bit. Eagle, that timing was beautiful, by the way. I love that. You're on your game today.
Do better.
This is his thoughts about Nigeria beating the U.S. in exhibition basketball.
There's no excuse to lose to Nigeria. Some dude, Gabe Namdi, who goes by Gabe Vincent for the Miami Heat, Caleb Agata, Namu, or however the hell you pronounce his name. You give up 60 points on threes. There's no.
So Nigeria lost to the U.S. by 83 points 8 years ago. This is a team. It reminds me a little bit of that American team that won silver with D Wade when he was really young and Carmelo Anthony early on. And it kind of feels like one of those teams is not completely overwhelming. They should still win. They have 6 All-Stars on the team and a lot of really good players. Nigeria has NBA talent, but again, Gabe Vincent is not Kevin Durant. And they also lost to Australia shortly thereafter. But the thing is, again, where this looks bad is Stephen A. Smith, basketball is his beat, right? And so he should know these player names. It's never a good look to also say however it's pronounced or whatever. And then
Imagine if Max Kellerman said that, though.
Correct. He can't. B, neither should, right? Like, you know, you could just say it's an embarrassment for the U.S.
Also,
without trashing Nigeria.
I have an awful name for other people to pronounce. So when people pronounce my name, Terry Tan, very easy. So the thing is, if I'm starting to pronounce, like even Giannis, like people call him Giannis, but it's like, how many times do you call a player by his first name? Like
I've
Shaq,
been doing it on purpose
Kobe.
every show, and you correct me every show.
Yeah,
you
so
say Yanni and I say Giannis. I know it's Yanni,
so
but
Giannis,
it's a thing we do.
I actually had a call with a Greek client who I didn't know how to pronounce their name. So as I was joining the call and I see them join, I just quickly did Google Translate and typed the name in and clicked the button to hear it pronounced.
I thought you were just going to go Greek freak.
I sounded amazing. That was great. It was perfect. That's what they need at ESPN. They need Google.
Yeah, I think they have it also.
They need Google Translate. No, but the thing
Google's
is,
free,
people can pronounce Antetokounmpo. Like it's not a easy name to pronounce when you first look at it. But like for Stephen A. Smith to be like, it's to start saying a guy's name and he could be like, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. Nothing wrong with that. But like, however you want to pronounce his name, like go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just Stephen A. Smith becoming that other doofus that went to Fox.
Skip
What's his
Bayless.
name? Skip Bayless.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon. This
Matt
episode
Damon
should be
just
called
catching
Matt Damon.
strays all show.
This episode should be called Matt Damon.
The next episode should be Eagle. Note it. The next episode is gonna be called. This episode should be called Matt Damon.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The thing is with Stephen A. Smith again, and you know, I'm a fan of his, and I feel like a lot of younger people just don't know his background, don't know what he had to do to get to where he is, and where he is doing now. People also we saw it. We saw it through the pandemic. We saw it through all sorts of stuff where people confuse what journalism is and what social media is and what media is. And they're not all the same thing. You know what I mean? So like the New York Times is not the same as Eagle putting out a video on TikTok. And so Stephen A. Smith, what he's doing now is not the same work he did as a journalist. I'm not trying to excuse it. What he did is wrong. He does know better very clearly. Yeah. But I think there's times where he can separate Stephen A. Smith, the character, from Steve Smith, the person. That he used to go by Steve Smith back in the day, by the way. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he added the A when he got to ESPN.
I didn't
Great
know
move
that.
because like it's an unforgettable name, right? It's an unforgettable name. Plus the acronym is SAS, and he's very sassy.
Yeah, he is very sassy. That's for sure.
Although it does break my alliteration.
I'm kind of worried about this as well because also ESPN's going through a weird thing now where if the series goes to 6 games, Maria Taylor her contract will have expired. So they had a year to resolve this. And her contract is going to expire. And basically, she holds all the power in that relationship because what we discussed last week. And what worries me is they're going to have to pay her a lot of money, obviously, to stay in. And she's worth whatever. But Stephen A. Smith is worth all the money that he gets because, again, he makes a lot of money for the company. But what you're seeing is when they pay people this money, they make Stephen A. Smith do hockey. They make him do UFC. They make him do First Take. They make him do his own podcast. They make him do all over the place, all over the network, right? And what that shows me is, in reality, what they're doing is they're putting them out to the lions, basically, and they're saying, when you make a mistake, at some point the mistake's gonna be big enough that we're gonna let you go, Stephen A. Smith, and we don't actually care about you.
Yeah,
because the rights are more valuable than the employees.
Of course,
and that can't be a great work environment, and it wasn't always like that. It's becoming increasingly like that, and I think I don't know what's changed. I don't know enough about the organization. It just feels to me that they see even someone as big as Stephen A. Smith as absolutely expendable because they can put somebody else in that seat because you're still going to turn to ESPN because they have all the games.
So Stephen A. Smith is like the hot stripper in the club that the bouncer keeps putting back on stage because they throw money at her until eventually she's going to break her heels and crash and burn.
But that's it.
You're no good anymore, and just kiss her off.
like as awful as that is, it's that expendable. It's that, and it's, I find it hard to witness because, again, we know what these people do. These are the top of the industry, right? They go work there, so it's hard to see. It's hard to witness. The finals are, they're on. It's now a series. Yanni, happy there, Yanni. First player to put up 40 points in back-to-back games in the NBA Finals. He's injured, by the way. I thought he was going to be out for a year when I first saw him get hurt because it looked nasty. And he's basically, it's like he hasn't really said this, but he hinted at, I'm not getting it checked because I'm playing anyway. But like he can't say that because like there's, insurance issues because, again, it's a unionized environment. But we know he's hurt. And he's been phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
In this series. But I don't think they're going to get by the Suns. The Suns' ball movement, the Suns' shooting, it's all the stuff that the Bucks struggled with all playoffs. And the solution was supposed to be Jrue Holiday on defense. And in the first two games, no backcourt in the history of the NBA scored more points than Chris Paul and Devin Booker. In the history of the NBA, no two guards put up more points than those two guys. And you're supposed to have, stoppers. You're supposed to have Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday, who are two of the best defensive players at their positions, and they're just not. They haven't been this series.
The thing is that they cycle the ball so well, and I don't know anything about basketball, but watching it, how often they're just passing. Like how many, like in soccer, they count how many completed passes. If we counted how many completed passes the Suns had, we'd be freaking out. It'd be a world record.
I rewound. There's one possession, Terry. They once they were all like in a set, like once they were in like around the 3-point line, essentially, there was 10 passes before putting up the shot. And there was still 8 seconds left on the shot clock when they made the bucket.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
And I look at guys. So they have those two guys at the top of the three. Then you have fucking Ayton just waiting for an alley-oop, waiting for a dunk. Like that guy is unbelievable how good he is. Like I'm such a huge DeAndre Ayton fan now. Like legit super fan.
This series has been a start turn for him.
He might be the best basketball player of all time. Like that's how much I like him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say Jay Crowder is the good because he's always in the finals. Have you noticed?
Also, how big is he? Because when I look at him run, I'm like, he's not that big. But then when I see him stand, but that's what I'm saying. Then when I see him stand next to other guys, I'm like, fuck, he is big, but he doesn't look big. I guess it's because he wears
the biggest person you knew if you met him.
Yeah, but he wears like long sleeve shirts. I have a friend who's 6'7", so I don't know. But yeah, I mean,
built too. He's got like a slender, like he's very lean and muscular, but he's not like he doesn't have like the Dwight Howard shoulders.
He's not imposing. Yeah, he's not an imposing big guy. But I look at
Dwight
LeBron,
Howard. Dwight Howard is actually shorter than he looks. Dwight Howard, I think, is like 6'9", but because of his
Dwight
shoulders,
Howard looks like he's 7 feet.
Exactly, because of his shoulders, everyone thinks he's like 7'2", and he's not. Like the fact that he was such a good rebounder when he was young is just a credit to his absolute skill. Shams Charania, we're going to transition out of the final just because this story is also relevant, and I think it's particularly relevant to the Suns. Shams Charania tweeted that the 76ers are seeking an all-star caliber player in exchange for Ben Simmons. A lot of people on Twitter, of course, laughed at that because Ben Simmons he was afraid to dunk the ball in the last series and passed out of it from underneath the basket. There's something clearly up, but defensively is an elite player. He creates more open three-pointers than any other player in the league. He's just been afraid to put the ball up. But he's also 25 years old.
He's also 25 in basketball is like your mid-career.
But guys are playing till they're 37, 38 though.
There's like a dozen guys in the league that are playing to that age.
Chris Paul's 36.
Fuck, Chris Paul he's a different. He'll play till he's 40.
He might.
And good for him if he does.
But the thing is, you have Ben Simmons right now. He's 25 years old. He has 4 more years on his contract.
What's the average age of an NBA player?
I will look.
I'm sure it's young, but the stars do play long.
I know for sure. Like he'll play until the thing is he's
26.28.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just because there's a lot of young guys.
Yeah, exactly. But there's also a lot of like PJ Tuckers in the world where they're like 32 years old and you didn't even realize they've been in the league for that long. Like Ken Bazemore. Okay, like how old is that?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. But like with the thing
But like you want like what's a roster that you would count as like a very good statistical average?
I don't know.
What do you mean by that?
Like when you look at a roster, you go, oh yeah, this is like the average age of an NFL NBA
the
team.
bulk. It's like Terry. It's like the thing with NFL players, right? Like the average running back doesn't make it past the rookie deal,
30,
right?
Yeah.
But we can think of so many examples because the most notable ones play for 10 years, right? So
they say like the average running back, most running backs don't make it past the age of 30, which is kind of true because it's a physically taxing sport. But yeah, so I mean, listen, it's a very general average. I understand that, but he's at the point where he should be a lot better than he is. So if he's not getting better.
I actually saw an argument. I saw an argument by someone who's a former league executive, who said, right now, if he doesn't improve, if he just plays, till the end of his career as the same player he is now, he's a Hall of Famer. Based on what he does, because basically, if you think John Stockton's a Hall of Famer, then Ben Simmons will be a Hall of Famer because the shooting percentages are about the same, not 3-pointers, but just general shooting, and the passing and defense is basically that. Like that's what he is.
So if I look at Ben Simmons is he's obviously he's good defensively, or else he wouldn't be who he is because
he's an elite. He's probably the best defensive point guard, and he could defend because of his size. He can even defend all 5 positions.
But the problem with Ben Simmons, and he might have a Hall of Fame career when it comes down to it. Well, you're going to compare him to John Stockton, when I look at John Stockton, I don't look at his stats or whatever. I looked at how he impacted the game and like what he did and what kind of a point guard he was, and you know what I mean. If I look at his stats, I'll look at his assists because that's something that he single-handedly dominated in. Yeah. Ben Simmons dominates in defense. That's just what he does. Right?
Gary Payton's another good comp, right? Like Gary Payton was a guy who not a great scorer, but a guy who was decent enough at scoring, but also great distributor and incredible defensive player.
For the record, the youngest team is the Thunder at 23.5, and the oldest team is the Lakers at 29.1 because
that's because they sold all their guys.
Clippers at 29 because Kawhi.
Last season, the Suns had the youngest starting 5, which changed because they got Chris Paul.
Now they're oldest starting 5.
But the thing is, so I don't think it's crazy for them to seek an all-star caliber. Like one of the things people kept talking about was C.J. McCollum, but the 76ers won't take C.J. McCollum for Ben Simmons because even though he's a better fit, you're not going to take sort of like if you put an A grade on a guy, you're not going to take a B plus player for an A grade, right?
Like CJ, a great player, but like without Dame, is he the same? Like
it would have Ben Simmons to create the open 3-pointers for CJ McCollum, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it does not. I think people just like to throw comparisons out there because they look at their stats, they look at where they stand, like how their popularity and things like that. Yeah, exactly. So if I look at Ben Simmons, I'm looking at him as his defense. So yeah, he might make the Hall of Fame. I think he will. But realistically, we're going to be talking about him when the end of his career. We're going to talk about at the end of his career as one of the best defensive players, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be – right now, we hate on him because he's a young guy that should be doing better, and the team had a lot of hype. But like as he goes, this is just how sports fans work. Is as he gets older, we're gonna be like, oh, he's so good defensively. We're gonna appreciate his defensive
It's like
skill.
LeBron
You know
after
what I
he
mean?
won the championship in Cleveland. Like all of a sudden, everyone stopped hating LeBron for a second.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But again, Ben Simmons didn't do himself any favors when he tried to throw a fish back into the water and missed the lake. So I mean, there's that. But I was thinking, to me, I was trying to think of who can even trade for him, because if you're gonna trade a star player, like you need to be a team that's a bunch of shooters. So like, for example, a team like the Warriors. But then
Warriors, yeah.
Who are the Warriors going to trade? If they trade Klay Thompson, they cease to be the team with all the shooters, right?
Do they still have Wiggins?
Yeah, but no one's going to take Wiggins for.
No, but it wouldn't be Wiggins heads up. I would never.
I wouldn't do it in 2K. Like,
unless you're literally moving a defensive piece for a defensive piece just for a change of
500 draft picks is what it has to be. It has to be like we saw what the Pelicans got for Anthony Davis, was like 12 draft picks basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was actually thinking it might actually be a sign and trade. Like, for example, if you're the Suns and you have all these shooters, and you have 36-year-old Chris Paul, who now is going to get another max deal, do you do a sign and trade where you sign him, trade him to Philadelphia because their window is now, and then you get Ben Simmons, and he doesn't need to shoot with if he's on the Suns, right? Or if you go sign a trade with maybe like a team like Toronto, where if they sign a trade Lowry, it's not likely, but I only see it working with an aging superstar and in a sign and trade. I don't see it in any other scenario.
Klay is like the ultimate, like the perfect trade, but I just don't think the Warriors would ever.
The Warriors won't do it.
Yeah,
and again, Ben Simmons won't be as good because he won't have Klay Thompson to pass to.
You'll have Steph Curry, and I
Steph,
guess they might have younger guys coming up too. I'm not fully aware of their whole.
Wiseman's a decent shooter, and Wiggins at the very least is an okay shooter.
Imagine he goes to the Lakers for something, and then his career just. No, but even at that, like I think him going to the Lakers would be an awful decision for him.
Look, it's an awful decision because it's the same thing with Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball and LeBron did the same thing, so they couldn't keep Lonzo Ball. You just couldn't get on the court because they play the same way. They're ball distributors. They're guys who need the ball in their hands, and we've seen that with Embiid and Simmons. They kind of do the same thing, right? So except Simmons actually goes up for a shot now and again. So I'm curious to see where it works out. We're gonna follow that story as it develops, of course. I don't see him staying on the team because Daryl Morey is not a guy who stands pat. We saw it in all those years in Atlanta. Sorry, not Atlanta, in Houston.
What does that mean? Stands pat, stands patiently.
Yeah, it's just the thing I said. I don't even know if it's the right figure of speech.
No, I've heard that before. Stands pat, yeah.
Eagle, while we discuss the next topic, find out what stands pat, what the origin of stands pat is. Richard Sherman arrested for burglary and domestic violence. We all had the same reaction. When I read the story, it's not what I thought it was. He broke into a male relative's home, which is burglary, and assaulted him, which is domestic violence. But it's not what you think of when you think domestic violence, right? We're all kind of shocked because Richard Sherman has a reputation for being sort of erudite, well-spoken, a really smart dude, a guy who's about player empowerment, all that stuff.
He's not supposed to be the guy that does this.
Correct. And we don't know a ton about the story because it just happened today, and the details, of course, are going to get leaked as the court documents get filed and all that.
Yeah. So apparently, according to some Seattle reporters, because it was done so early in the morning, his bail is going to get denied immediately until the charges are actually pressed and the whole stuff, which only happens tomorrow, essentially. So we're waiting 24 hours to see the actual details of what's going to be included in the court documents.
Because there's no bail, right? I'm curious to know
if there's no bail. It's just not. They literally can't do it now.
I looked it up. I looked it up. So the reason why there's not a bail immediately is because, like you said, they're looking at the charges. If it's a felony charge, then there's no bail. Yeah. That's the state law.
And I think there's 3 or 4 variations of domestic violence and burglary they can charge him with.
Correct.
So it depends on which one they pick.
Correct.
What's a felony? Like assault with a deadly weapon is a felony. So maybe if he stabbed him or if he beat him with a gun or something, like that's assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah, and I would imagine the degree of assault matters too. All these things. Yeah. It's very complicated. We're gonna get more information as it goes. I was surprised, but Eagle. The thing is, I would deny you bail because you still haven't told me what stands pat is. Like, it's good that you came in with some information there, but it's not the information I was looking for.
I've been trying to find it, and Google is not very helpful this time around.
So maybe that was the problem, though. That was the problem with Stephen A. Smith and pronunciation, is Google just froze up on him.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Because that's all we have now.
Stood pat, standing pat, stands pat. Definition of stand pat. To play one's hand as dealt in draw poker without drawing. No idea what that means.
Yeah.
Wait, one sec. To play one's hand as a deal in draw poker without drawing. To oppose or resist change. Which Daryl Morey is... I guess you're saying your metaphor did not make sense, please.
No, I'm saying that he's not someone who would resist change. He's someone who actively changes his team.
Okay, so you're saying he's not somebody who would stand pat.
He's not someone who would stand pat. Exactly.
Okay,
because
so you're right. Yeah.
We saw it with the trade for Russell Westbrook, for example, trading James Harden. He's a very aggressive GM. Just answer yes or no to the question on the script.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So just in rapid fire then.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I mean, listen, if you want to get into it, we can be. There's a lot of...
we just won't touch on that one angle.
Okay, cool.
Man, pre-show meetings would really help.
Let's just do it.
So, yeah, we won't touch on that one specific angle. We'll talk about the Stanley Cup Finals, right?
Yeah. The Habs. Let's talk about the Habs.
The Habs.
What to expect?
They
suck.
Well, that's the thing. They kind of did. And they got to the finals. It was awesome. They were so ahead of schedule. Cole Caulfield looks like the future. So does Nick Suzuki. I love this team. I have the feeling that, and this happens a lot in basketball, is these tough, scrappy teams. I remember, I don't remember exactly who, but I remember it was Miami Heat. The fans got upset when they traded for Shaq because they had to give up Caron Butler. It's like, really?
Great player. Ron Butler's a great player.
But you fall in love with these like Terry, you're the greatest example. You fall in love with the scrappy underdog, right?
Love it.
And that's absolutely what the Habs were. But my God, we need some of what Tampa has because we just didn't have that.
You mean excess cap space?
We did too, by the way. We went $6 million over this cap space.
We did? I don't even know that.
Montreal was $6 million because of the Carey Price injury. Same thing.
Towards the end of the season. Okay. I didn't even know that. But who?
Yeah, I didn't know either.
It's not like we brought anybody in. Anyway, whatever. Regardless.
It was just, once they had all their pieces together, you're right, didn't specifically bring anyone in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they could actually, because it might have been after the signing window.
Correct.
Potentially.
It was just
Kucherov did the opposite, right? He only came back after everything was said and done, and it didn't count anymore.
They manipulated a rule that exists.
They manipulated a rule that the Lightning fought to get removed when they got screwed over by the Blackhawks in
2013.
2012 technically when they won the Stanley Cup. But yeah. So listen, I'm not gonna hate on the Lightning for being 18 million over the cap. It was a 5-game series. That last game could have gone either way. The last 2 games priced it on his head. The Habs fans, we have a lot to be proud of. But we also have to be very realistic in this. Is that the Habs? They were 3 wins away from winning the Stanley Cup. They were also 3 games away from not being in the playoffs. So if the Habs offseason, they have a lot to do. There's a lot of names being thrown out there. Tarasenko, Dunn, fucking Landeskog. All these names are being thrown out as if Bergevin is going to go after them. It's not a guarantee. I see everything on Twitter is, what a perfect line this would be. No. Let's not get excited because the thing is the Habs always have to overpay. We have to because the taxes here are too much, because of the dollar. They have to overpay. So I'm excited for the future. Caulfield, Suzuki, KK, all of it. I'm excited. I love it. But I'm also realistic. Where I'm going to say is we're not completely out of the woods yet. They need to really put on a really good regular season next year and prove it against a full division.
And one thing which people haven't really thought about is that we technically won the Western Conference, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a regular playoff scenario. Had this been regular Eastern versus Western finals, we would have potentially, even if everything went exactly according to plan, we would have played Tampa in one of the rounds and then immememediately lost, right? We would have never made it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I remember watching the first series between Tampa and Florida, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, Florida got screwed. Because that wasn't supposed, that would never be the first round match.
That would have been us.
That would have been us getting smashed by Tampa.
Eagle, to my theory about Habs though, the Habs always do well in the first round. So they would have been better suited to play the Lightning in the first round.
True.
They were never going to be suited to play the Lightning.
No, but that's
the thing is, they all the strengths that Montreal has, right? Tampa has better, right? The young scoring, Tampa has better. The superstar goaltender, Tampa's is younger,
and their defensive line is way better than ours.
Tampa's team,
6 guys. We can play 4.
Yeah. Tampa's team in the Stanley Cup Finals this year is probably the best roster we've seen, legit, since the Avalanche in 2001 when they had Bork, Waugh, Foote, Sakic, Forsberg.
I
All
thought you were gonna go with since 10 months ago when the Lightning won the cup.
no, but like if
No, they are better. They are better than last year.
it's just they just got better. The Stamkos didn't play. He only played one game last year. This year he played all the games. Like there's just that. McDonough was a year better. Sergachev a year better. If you take this roster and you put it together, I think this is the best roster we've seen in the last 20 years. It's fucking crazy how good this team is from top to bottom. They have the biggest. And we talked about Vasilevsky and Kucherov being and Conn Smythe winners. Man, I don't know how the fuck Ryan McDonough didn't get any votes. That guy was the best player in the playoffs, period.
He was
like
awesome.
From top to bottom.
Kucherov is just the goal scoring was out of this world. Like he scored so many goddamn goals.
Yeah, he's just a sick player. And Vasilevsky shut the door because his equipment's fucking like this.
Also, yeah, I loved all the memes, by the way. Like
it's unbelievable.
where he was the blue guy from Charlie and Chocolate Factory, or Andre the Giant was another good one, versus Carey Price, who looked like a normal human.
All credit where credit is due, right? And the Lightning are fucking good, and they were much better than the Habs. There's no the Habs should be proud for getting there. You know, it's disappointing that they lost, but you know what? On to the next and see what happens next year.
Here's another thing about Vasilevsky: the last 5 series that the Lightning have won, he has in the game to win that series, he's gotten a shutout.
Oh, really? He's also 18-0. He's also 18-0. No, sorry, 15-0 in the game after he loses a game in the playoff.
That's insane.
So he's never lost 2 games in a row.
Like it's part of also being on a good team, right?
Of course,
that's still him being incredible.
That's fucking. It's nuts.
Yeah.
How he shut the door on the Habs.
Have you guys heard the rumor that Marc Bergevin, instead of trying to renegotiate or extend his general manager contract, might be promoted into a director president of hockey operations, and that they might be bringing in Scott Malamby from assistant GM into full-time GM instead, and he takes over the reins of what has been put together?
I mean,
I heard about that.
It's still the same like people in the organization, right? Like
that's why. Like I think it might be a good time to do that, where you finally take him out of the spotlight. You bring in Duham officially is no longer interim head coach.
Yeah.
So you can kind of start the next phase of the project, but with new people in leadership.
Well, it's what they did with Chicago, right? Scott Bowman came in. He went up. His son came in. Stan Bowman took over as GM. They had success. All their stars got older, whatever, retired, all that stuff. And then now they're on a rebuild. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Bergevin's built a core. He's built a very good core. Mm-hmm. And now, obviously, a lot of people hate on him. He's a great GM.
Just in our 2 years of doing the show together, you've seen me turn on Bergevin. Like my opinion shifted. I think he's done a great job.
The only trade I would take away 100% from Bergevin, Sergachev. That trade is the dumbest trade in the history of the NHL. I'm not even lying. It's dumber than the Patrick Waugh trade. It's dumber than all this. It's not bad. It's not even that. It's not even Drouin. That Drouin is bad. It's that the Habs continuously draft defensemen and they give them away. And 2 of those guys won the Stanley Cup this year in McDonough and fucking Sergachev. It pisses me off. And what also pisses me off is that people are saying that Romanov should be traded now. Why the fuck would we trade Romanov?
Stop that. Stop trading defensemen away.
I'm gonna fucking.
The thing is, you compared it to the situation of Blackhawks, I will say there's even one way that we're far ahead of Blackhawks is, as far as I know, this regime hasn't covered up any sexual assault.
As far as we know, though, so you never know.
There has no covers of sexual assault, absolutely. They're fucking idiots. They're stupid.
So I remember when this happened with Penn State, and I remember thinking to myself, so like if this happened at Hot Sauce Sports, for example, right? We find out.
If I
didn't say Alex the intern, I'm not going to do it. It's too mean. Let's say we hire somebody, right?
I think I should sexually assault Alex just so we can have this on the record.
No, but like let's say that happened and we hired somebody, right? And they did that.
Yeah.
They would be instantly fired immediately,
and
right?
Reported to the police.
And reported to the police because for 2 reasons. A, you're fucking disgusting. Mm-hmm. Secondly, why would we want it to come back on us and ruin our company, right? Like, I never understood why, specifically in sports, because like Penn State, like you can't find another, like, was it offensive coordinator for Jerry Sandusky for the Blackhawks? There's nobody else who can do that job, really.
They're elitist.
6
and they
billion
think they can
people
get
on
away
this
with shit
earth.
if they
One
just
guy
don't
can
talk
do that
about
job.
it.
Sorry?
They're elitist. They think they can get away with shit if they just don't talk about it.
It's frustrating. And
It's
the
sad.
fact
It's
that the Blackhawks are still fighting it to me is just
the fact that the Blackhawks come out, and I think Ego, you had said the screenshot, and the Blackhawks come out and say, yeah, we knew this happened, but like technically we didn't refer him there or whatever it was. Like they're basically
it's a legal defense essentially, right? Like we didn't have a obligation to fire him essentially or report it because he's not part of our.
But why wouldn't you want to fire him?
And so,
that's the thing I don't understand.
Brett Sopel has come out and said a lot of the players in the locker room knew it happened as well because they were talking about it for a few days and nobody said anything either. So it's just complete failure in the entire organization and everyone involved.
It's that's well put, Eagle. It's organizational failure, 100%. Terry, I learned one
did
thing.
Business school.
From when you're back to the studio, I just learned something by looking up at the screen. Wearing the black on the black background, you look pretty
sick. It is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. You look lean and mean.
Yeah, I'm not. It's just the black on black.
Did you only lose some weight, or did you also lose some money?
I've actually I'm gonna make all my money back from the Bertans bets tonight.
Baby, tonight.
Yeah, and if you want to, you can use Hot Sauce promo code and make millions off of the Hot Streak app. Just download it. There's games tonight. MLB is gonna be available soon. Tonight might be the last night there's basketball, so you better fucking get on it and make some money.
It's 2-1, Terry.
It's 3-1. Oh, it's game 4. My mistake.
Yeah.
This might be the second last night of basketball.
I think it will be. This
is the second last night of basketball.
I personally have a lot riding on this final. It's not because of Hot Streak. I will have a lot riding on it tonight, though, because I will be playing tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I have a lot riding on this because Alex, the intern, was talking about how Montreal was going to win the Cup.
Yeah.
I was talking about the Suns were going to win the NBA championship back like early in the season. So this has me looking like a genius when all I was trying to do was piss off Alex the intern. So it's the best possible. If the Habs are going to lose, this is the way they had to lose.
But making me look like a genius. The intern, you said anyone but the Lakers, and you would have pissed them off.
So what? Like, can we write an article of top three things that piss off Alex the intern?
Me.
Yeah,
it's just us.
Facts.
Facts. Yeah, information.
He hates facts.
Access to information.
Alex the intern hates facts. Like,
and research.
He always tells me you twist facts. I said, well, if they're facts, then they're facts.
It's just doing research, man.
Just like when he called, I know he was sarcastic, but just like when he called the guy that robbed Gallagher's house a genius, but then he called Kucherov a stupid idiot or whatever it was. I'm like,
classless was the term.
Yeah, classless.
I remember it because I threw it back in his face when I said, classless.
And then so I screenshotted it just in case he deleted it. And then I went on Twitter and I ripped him. I went back and forth with him. And that's where the anti-robbery came out of.
Honestly, one of my favorite things to do at night when I'm super high is watch you guys argue on Twitter. I wish I had more of a life, but I don't. Terry, if you want to eat something delicious while making some hot sauce, hot streak bets, what would you apply to your food?
Okay, so I would get like a rack of ribs.
Okay.
I would get a rack of ribs. I'd fire up that barbecue, warm it up to 400, 500. You know what I mean? Fire up the barbecue. Get my rack of ribs that were already seasoned with the best, juiciest, flavorful, not so spicy Mike's BBQ rub. Now you can visit Mike's BBQ rub at MTL.com and you can use Hot Sauce 10 promo code for 10% off the entire site with that rub. Also, if you get some fries, you get some chicken. You rub a little mustard truffle sauce or that ghost bourbon barbecue sauce. Unbelievable. Anything they have on the menu is good. Mustard truffle, their new truffle sauce. It's legit. I'm going to say this again. Sucks your dick. Hot Sauce 10 promo code.
I'm a guy who's always made my own barbecue sauce, right? It's something I prided myself on, but I got really busy because, we started a sports podcast company. And I now just use Mike's barbecue sauce. I legitimately do it. Terry, I'm terrible at reads. So if I'm saying it, it's actually true. I do love the sauces. They're great guys. They're great guys. So
they are good guys.
Buying from them.
Yes, absolutely.
You boys ready for rapid fire?
Let's do
Always.
it. Now that I spilled water all over all the equipment, before I get electrocuted, let's do rapid fire.
All right. A sterling job. Yankees broadcaster John Sterling made a call on an Aaron Judge home run. However, he was watching the game through a monitor and not live, and so his play-by-play was reacting to the replay of the home run.
Now here's Judge. Man, the breaking ball is hit in the air to deep left. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Unfortunately, that was a replay of the home run, but it was a good replay.
You know what? To his defense,
I'm sorry.
It's not like
it's on the monitor.
Like
what am I supposed to do?
This is a great way to do a game, isn't it? Yep.
It's not like there was like a loop that said replay or anything like that. It was just a video. So his defense, but also like know the play you just called.
It's you know what it is though. Like there's so much happening in play-by-play. You have like producers in your ear. You have stats being fed to you. You have so like I'm sure he just looked up, was surprised to see it on the screen, like, and they're not at the games. They're doing it remotely, right? And so
that was an away game, so he's not at the field. I don't think. He might be.
He wasn't.
No,
I looked it up. So the Yankees, a lot of teams are not sending their personnel yet because traveling is still complicated with COVID restrictions.
Yeah, the Blue Jays still playing Buffalo.
There you go, the Buffalo Jays.
77 cases in Quebec last Friday. We still have to wear masks.
I know it's frustrating. I have a more frustrating thing, but I'll tell you off air. The thing is with Terry, you and I have done play-by-play. It's much more difficult than it looks.
Yeah.
And doing it in that environment where you're not physically at the game, I imagine that being incredibly difficult.
I actually have a funny story. So I used to work at this like multicultural radio station in Montreal, like back in it when I went to broadcasting school, and then when I got out, I got a job there. It was a Greek radio station, but they had like Italian, Lebanese, all that shit, Armenian.
So no Stephen A. Smith, got it.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith wouldn't work out well.
I was a Stephen A. Smith. I had a radio show called Throwdown Radio. It was Sunday nights from 11 to 1 a.m. It was great. I was by myself. Me and my buddy Peter did it. Peter Zerjotis, remember the boxer who came on?
Oh yeah,
he did it. Yeah, and then it would be me and him, and then when he wasn't there, I would just do it alone, and I would rant for like an hour, and I would put commercials. It was an amazing time. I had such a good time. Anyway, but when the World Cup came, when the World Cup happened, we had this guy from Greece come in. Like he moved to Montreal, and he got hired as a job. I think he worked as a radio in Greece anyway. So we had this small TV in the booth, in the radio booth that we just had on in the background. It wasn't used for anything. So they had the bright idea of doing play-by-play for the World Cup on the radio.
For which you didn't have the rights.
Which we didn't have the rights for. So he's doing play-by-play for this. So, and I'm there, but it's fully in Greek. And I speak Greek fluently, but like a Montreal fluent, not Athens, Greece fluent. Okay.
It's probably like a dialect or,
Yeah, and he speaks very fast. So like sometimes like I don't catch the words. So I'm doing like the basically the color. But if you ever hear soccer commentators in Europe, it's just one guy. It's just him talking the entire time. And so he's running through it, and then like he'll turn to me sometimes and he'll say something. I'll be, what are you talking about? Like, what are we, like in my head, I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this is the most illegal thing ever. And I just, but they forced me, like, no, you have to be there. You have to be the producer. I was the producer. Like, you have to be the producer, all that shit. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But like, this isn't right. Like, we can't do this shit. And it was the most awful experience of 4 games I've ever had in my life. 3 games, sorry.
I can imagine. The other thing too is like I was just thinking about that. Like you're at an actual radio station. You had this tiny TV, and I'm staring at you on our giant flat screen TV in our podcasting studio.
Yeah,
times have changed.
The industry has changed so much. Let's get to the next thing, Eagle.
Cocksure, former NHL player Ryan Whitney says he could identify everyone on his college team based on their genitals.
Honestly, show me a group of my friends, their dicks, I can probably tell you who's who.
Yeah, because you know which guys lean left, which guys lean right. Not politically, but
I know like a good amount of my friends' dicks what they look like. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I have one of my friends specifically who everyone on earth has seen his penis, because if he has literally one beer too many, he will be running around naked. I'll tell you off air. You know which one.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was a fast topic.
He looks like Kenny Powers right now.
No, I like the weirdest one for me, Terry, is when they curve up. That one I don't understand.
When they go like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are weird. But those have if you have those, you have a higher chance of being impotent when you get older.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so you have to get it fixed.
So once you go, what goes up must come down, I guess.
All right. Sleeping Booty. Jake Paul has gifted his Sleeping McGregor chain, one purchased for $100,000, to a Dustin Poirier, and Poirier has accepted.
Right.
As I bring up the picture of what it looks like, I want to mention the fact that the name is spelled different and completely wrong in the script twice. One of them is Poirier, and the other one is Porter.
Guy, autocorrect.
That's funny because
on my phone.
That's funny because Tyson Fury called him Porter also.
There you go, Dustin Porter.
Yeah. So the thing is with this is that this is my problem with Jake Paul. I love what Jake Paul is doing. I think it's fantastic. He's really shaken up the entire fight world. He's made them all nervous. Like legit, he's made all fighters nervous. Because we know that all these fighters can destroy him, but like he's doing the right things. He's going about it the right way. But anyway, he always talks about how Conor needs him now more than he needs Conor, but yet he's still making these chains with Conor, and he always has Conor's name in his mouth and all that shit. And that's the part with Jake that bothers me is like he says things. Though. No, I get it. But he will fight Conor. I think in the next 3 years he'll fight Conor for sure.
I think it's gonna be it's hard to get these fights sanctioned through the UFC because Dana White likes money. And the thing is that we've seen it already. Like other than the Floyd Mayweather fight, because that was a ton of money.
It would be a boxing fight though. But Zuffa, which is the promotion company for the UFC, they started their own boxing window.
Yeah, but I don't think they're interested in having their fighters fight because there's no win for them to get Jake Paul paid, right? So it's going to be a lot of ex-fighters until at some point like that's just going to be what the consumers want. And again, what I like about him is he's created his own revenue stream. And from a taunting perspective, we saw Conor McGregor talking about DMing Dustin Poirier's wife while on the floor after injuring himself.
No, Dustin Poirier's wife DM'd him.
Oh, that I know, but
But apparently it was fake.
Of course, it's fake. But the thing is that
maybe it isn't.
The thing is that that's what these guys are doing. They're just trying to sell their personalities because that's how you make money in this industry. Right? And so, like it's and people keep saying like, why is Conor still getting all these fights? Because people still pay to watch Conor.
And honestly, people still pay to watch Conor. But I've never thought I would say this so quickly in his career. But I think people are starting to get turned off, especially the way he acted. He used to be very humble in defeat when he lost to Nate Diaz, he was like, yeah, shit happens. Even when he lost Khabib, he's like, yeah, shit happens. Even when he lost fucking to Mayweather, he's like, shit happens, whatever, I'm a fighter, all that stuff. This made him look really bad. And the shit that he said, and he went on Twitter and he threatened Dustin Poirier's 9-year-old daughter. Like, people are getting turned off by Conor. Not only that, it's scary to see this, but I think we're seeing Mike Tyson meltdown right in front of our eyes. Like we're seeing the exact same thing.
I say that once in a while about stuff like, you and I, especially because of the show we do, we're going to feel bad in the future for some of the guys we made fun of, not knowing what was going on with them kind of thing. We're doing 30 for 30 about them. And I think you're absolutely right there. I think something's up. I think, the guy's going through whatever stuff. But you're right. You lose a lot of sympathy when you start making it about the families. And fighting has always had sort of like they've trafficked in sort of, race baiting before when it was like, can the white guy defeat the black champion? We grew up in that era, right? And when Mike Tyson was fighting and he was this terrifying black figure and it was they marketed the hell out of that, and we saw it with when the Russian boxers started becoming more and more part of the sport, and we saw South American fighters in the lighter divisions. All these things they've always sort of treaded on these uncomfortable territories, but I think that's one thing everyone can kind of get behind. Is like when you start threatening people's families who are not involved in the sport, they're not in on the gag, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not the same. You leave all fighters say you leave families out of this, and it's like, and even Dustin's like, listen, he's threatening me. He's like, Dustin Poirier is funny. He's like, my wife. He's like, she's tough. She'll be able to handle it. He's like, but he's threatening me. Like, you can't turn back from that. He's like, if somebody threatens me, he's like, I'm gonna have to respond. And that fight, although I don't want to see it anymore because it's like repetitive.
I was bored.
It almost has to happen again. Because we're not going to hear him shut up until he loses. So, and up until that fight, I'm pro Conor the entire way. Like I've always been a Conor guy, no matter what. Dolly through the window, punching an old guy in the face. I've always been like, you know what? He's off the rails a bit, but he'll get back into
guy's phone.
Yeah, that too. But like, if somebody sticks their phone in my face, I'm gonna break it. Like that's just what it is. Like So
I'm never gonna show you anything on Instagram. Terry, check out this chick. Nope. No.
Sorry.
Just gonna send it to you.
Just fucking DM it, bro.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, but I just had one quick question before we move on. Like, you know this industry more than I do. How much of this is a work, and how much of it is he's just an asshole?
So I think that the whole thing is a work. I just think that he knows that the UFC's not going to do shit and he's untouchable. But I do think that he put himself mentally in that situation. I don't think that he would like to threaten a 9-year-old girl. I don't think that he would necessarily call another competitor's wife a hoe if he didn't put himself into this mentality. Mm-hmm. He put himself into, I have to kill this guy. I have to pump myself up because the last time I took him too easy. Remember the last time how nice he was to him? Yeah, he had to put himself. He went two opposite extremes. A nice guy shaking hands, hugging hot sauce, which I hated. On the record, hated. And then now he's doing the same thing where he's just yelling, saying stupidities. On the record, hated it. Dumb. Go back to the Conor that was talking shit to Poirier in 2014. Go back to the Conor against Mayweather. Talk about your money. Talk about what you've done for the sport. Talk about all that. Get in people's head. Like talk about the facts. He used to be the fat guy. He used to know everything about everybody. Now he just says the most ridiculous stuff, and if people are starting to get turned off, this guy included.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not very rapid this week, huh?
It's fine.
No, it's all good.
No shoes, no shirt, no problem. So speaking of leagues and players who have zero personality, we finally have the difference maker. Since winning the Stanley Cup, Tampa Bay Lightning Nikita Kucherov has done a shirtless, drunken press conference where he put on a shirt that taunted fans. The team dented the Stanley Cup and had to be sent to Montreal, ironically, for repairs. He also found himself with a advertising sponsorship deal with Bud Light, and everything is number one bullshit. So just to bring everyone up to speed, in case you happen to not catch this, here is the infamous press conference.
Lightning, we have Nikita Kucherov. Media, please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll start with Joe Smith, The Athletic.
Joe, let's hear it.
How would you describe congratulations? How would you describe your emotions right now after doing what you guys did?
I don't know what to say. It's back to back, and I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. And to be able to win this game is huge. Wasi was outstanding. MVP. I was telling him every day, Wasi, you're MVP. You're the best player. And then they gave it to whatever the guy in Vegas, the Vezina. And then last year they gave Vezina to somebody else. Number one bull. Wasi took both cups.
That's like a Russian thing.
He took MVP, and I was keep telling him he's MVP. He's the guy that he's the best. He was on his head today, and he kept us in the game. And another shout out by him, remarkable. Can't even tell more. I'm so happy I didn't want to go back to Montreal, but the fans in Montreal, come on. They acted like they won the Stanley Cup last game. Are you kidding me?
John Romano, Tampa Bay Times.
Their final was last series. Okay.
He's not wrong. I mean, I think we spoke about this already. No,
we did, but not on the show. We just
not on the show. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't think
we all yelled at Alex the intern.
And I love the shirt. He made a shirt that said 18 million over the cap, which is great. Yeah, which is ultimate heel. I don't like he didn't say anything that he's wrong about. Like everybody's like, oh, he disrespected the fans and Fleury because he didn't remember his name. The guy's he's hyper up on adrenaline. He just won a second Stanley Cup. The guy has broken ribs. Okay. He's probably 16 beers in already.
Yeah, because he's celebrating winning the cup.
He doesn't need to remember people's names, and he doesn't need to be nice to anybody. He just needs to do what he wants to do. Like that's just like people fucking like people people like Alex and like Habs fans on Twitter that are just so fucking pumped up and like angry, like, oh, we need to do something. Do what? The guy said words.
There's nothing you can't do because he's so much better than everything we have.
Exactly.
And you know what? If he did that as a member of the Habs, we would have been like, oh, this guy's amazing. So much personality. Because you know what? When we were talking Vegas with fucking pizza slices and Dano in the press conference, that was fine.
That was fine. If Gallagher went on after, if they won Stanley Cup and Gallagher said he's like, oh, the fans in Tampa, they don't care about hockey, whatever. At least we have real fans here. Like, if he said something like that, which isn't fucking crazy. It's not crazy to think that would happen. People would be like, yeah, Gallagher's the best, whatever. That's how hypocritical Habs fans are.
No, I loved it. I thought it was great. Again, I had the initial reaction of like, talking about the clients in a sense, talking about the fans. But I was like, you know what? He's doing it, portraying the heel, and he's good. He doesn't care. Like they won again. They won two Stanley Cups in the shortest period of time that any teams won 2 cups back to back. It's incredible, and he was absolutely the difference maker. We all saw that, and my question about the whole story though is there nobody else who can repair the Stanley Cup? Is there just one guy and he's in Montreal?
No, I think the guy that has the contract to repair it is here. Yeah.
How do you get that contract? That must be awesome.
It's a great contract.
That has to get fucked up every year, right? There's no way that cup comes back.
Yeah, people are like, oh, see, they disrespected the cup too. That happens people have pissed in that Stanley Cup.
Gronk bunches with a Super Bowl trophy.
Tom Brady dented it with a baseball.
He launched it from boat to boat.
These people just want to get fucking mad over anything, man.
Yeah.
They're idiots. They're all idiots.
There was one more rapid fire, but I'm throwing in breaking news. This is actually just coming out now. According to reports, Montreal Canadiens' Shea Weber may be out next season for a long-term injury because of his lingering foot and ankle issues, leading to the Canadiens potentially being able to not have to protect him during the upcoming expansion draft, leaving about $7.5 million additional cap space in the process for next year. Essentially, we can do what Tampa did.
Nice. 18 million, baby. Wow. Let's do it. Woo! Let's do it.
Imagine Weber comes back for the playoffs and he just fucking lights out because he didn't play all year and he's fine.
Well, that's exactly what Kucherov did. He was so fast in that first series. I was like, he's the fastest guy on the ice. Oh, because he's not tired.
He's the fastest guy in the world. Oh, yeah, because it's his first game ever.
Yeah.
All right, so that was that. And then finally, our last one over here. You got it, dude. While on a hike, Ashley Olsen is now my new favorite Olsen twin. She was photographed walking around, beer in hand, machete in the other, and wearing what looks like a weird toga thing or whatever it is. So, yes, I want this.
Same birthday, same birth year. Me and the Olsen twins.
Yeah, you look exactly the same.
We're the same person, basically.
Well, I mean, maybe now because the machete and the beer. It's just like what goes into the decision. You're like, you know what? I'm going on a walk. I got this, because she's a fashion designer. I got this sweet ass dress, robe, whatever it is. It's gonna look awesome. I'm gonna go with a beer because you know what? Fuck it, beers are awesome. But what if there's a bear? Machete.
What if I need to start hacking trees down? You know? What if I need a little mint off one of these trees to put in my old fashioned that I'm drinking here?
What if Danny Trejo comes out? Need a machete?
Oh yeah, you
need a machete.
Machete for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What if I get recruited into a Mexican cartel? I need a machete.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Listen, man, it was a hell of a look. I saw it and I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's the greatest combination of things. You were the little girl on Full House. You're getting drunk in public on a hike because that's the only way to hike. Because hiking is stupid.
Yes.
No,
it's not. Hiking's fucking great.
It's true. I actually do it all the time. I'm just playing.
You can because your ankle just locks.
No, but we do. My wife does extensive research. I'll do this one story and then we'll go. My wife does extensive research about which hiking trails.
Have ankle problems.
No, but which hiking trails we can do based on my ankles and knees and so on. And she always finds ones that are they're long but they're palatable. It's not a lot of climbing and stuff. We'll go to Colombia. And she's like, "Oh, this one should be fine." And there's 3 beaches along the way, but we had to go to the last beach and in her defense, it was the most beautiful beach there. It was awesome, but it was a 7-kilometer hike through the Sierra Nevada, and 7 kilometers back. My dude, at the end of the day, my ankle was a watermelon. It was terrible.
On the way back, you were probably cursing her.
I stopped 8 times. I stopped. I sat down. Had a beer.
I got a hiking story too, and bless my girlfriend's heart. But we did Mont Saint Hilaire, and it's got it's pretty steep. On the way back down, she's like, "Oh, let's go this way." So we followed another trail all the way down, but it brought us to the other side of the mountain. So I was like, "Okay, we'll just go back up, I guess, or whatever." We started walking back up. I'm 250 pounds. I have no more Gatorade, no more water, just a backpack full of emptiness, and I'm dripping sweat.
Yeah,
she is. She's sandpaper. That's how dry she is. Okay, I'm dripping sweat. I have asthma. Okay, it's humid as fuck. Mosquitoes everywhere. Recipe for anger. Short temper.
How many arguments on the way back?
One major one. That's pretty much it. One major one there because I ruined the experience, you know. And granted I did because
did you take a shit on the trail again?
No, I mean I wanted to. But you know, granted I did ruin the experience because I was inconsolable because I was just losing my mind. I was fucking losing my mind.
Well, with us, so we're staying at this hotel, and it was supposed to be this luxury spot. And so one thing I learned is there's no hot water to take a shower in Colombia. So I eventually got used to taking cold showers.
I love cold showers. I'm gonna go take one right now.
Hate it.
I thought you just take a cocaine bath.
Yeah,
that's one option. But this hotel on the roof had what's it called? Like a bain de bouillon, like a
cocaine bath.
No, what's it called?
A hot tub.
Hot tub. There we go.
I love how you knew it in French. Man.
I only knew it. I have certain words I only know in French.
Imagine you knew it in Greek.
Yeah, that'd be weird. That'd be super weird.
In Greek, it's just hot tub.
And so we go there, we book it. We're like, okay. My wife says, you know what? It's gonna be great. You're gonna feel so much better. Just get in the hot tub. I get in, and it's freezing cold because there's no hot water anywhere in the country. And on top of that, the winds are coming. It's on the side of a mountain, and the winds are like 70 miles an hour. It blew our full beers off the roof. And then we ran into our room because we thought we might have killed somebody.
It was a cold hot tub?
It was a cold hot tub, which is a cold tub with jets. It's the least enjoyable experience of all time.
But you realize you don't fill a hot tub with hot water, right?
Correct. But they don't heat. There's nothing there to heat water. Like, there's not enough energy that they can use to heat water.
Just burn the cocaine.
Yeah, I know. I tried to explain that to them, but you know.
Oh man, I will say
cold caramel.
I will say this, Peas, cold showers, they make your skin great.
Yeah, it's okay. I take more and more showers, and that way it just kills more and more layers of skin. So eventually I'll just be Skeletor. Terry, thank you for joining us today. We have the Graphite on vacation. He was supposed to join us, but he's not able to. We'll try and bother him on vacation. That'll be a fun segment.
Yeah.
We'll just call it Bother Duke. Eagle, thank you for everything you've done.
It was fun.
Remember to watch what we do, but definitely subscribe. Get us money because we need it. We need it. You heard Terry talking about that terrible story about that small TV. That small TV is no longer in the studio. It's now his TV at home.
Yeah.
So replace his TV with a new one by subscribing to our show. So sponsors give us more money. Thank you for everything, and thank you for letting me be myself. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.